Hello everybody, welcome back to the stream. It is a beautiful autumn day here with rain coming down. Very nice, very nice. So yeah, that's good. Anyway, what are we doing today? Oh, we're doing a new boss. As in the title, the boss is this guy right here, Commander Holt. And I've just drawn his art. He's just, or no, his name is Marshall Holt, sorry. I've just drawn his art here. He's got armor, big great sword, and also some long flowing hair here. So we got to give this guy some abilities. We have to implement it because I don't have a system right now for having different bosses in each different region. So I'm gonna have to implement that. So we got to do his abilities. We got to implement the system that he appears as a boss, and there's a third thing I want to do, which is I need to indicate that cards are bosses, because right now it's hard to tell at a glance which card is the boss. With the case of the first boss, the mayor, he's, you know, a big card, so it's pretty easy to discern. But, you know, let's say that for some reason I wanted to have a one-by-one boss card. I need to make that stand out. And I think what I'm going to do is just add the legendary effect to the boss. So every boss is just going to be legendary by default, which doesn't mean anything in the context of the enemy faction, because legendary typically means that you get all the alchemical results from your alchemy, but it'll just be a nice indicator, I guess, for the enemy faction that a card is special. But maybe we'll come up with a different effect for it. Anyway, before I get too deep into that, Alchemortis is the game I'm working on right now. It's a dark fantasy roguelite auto battler with some interesting systems like alchemy. So if that's interesting to you, check it out, wishlist it. I also have the Patreon where you can support me. The top Patreon tier will get your name in the in-game Alchemortis credits and also get you unlimited access to all of my course content, as well as these other perks as well. I think I'm going to add one more perk to this, but I will finalize that decision for tomorrow and see if and any perks I add to this will be retroactive. So the way that this works is if you subscribe even for just 1 month at this tier, you will get a number of these perks permanently. So one of the perks you'll get permanently is you'll get listed in the Alchemortis credits. So you don't need to stay subscribed the entire time until the game is released. You could just purchase 1 month, just basically like a 1 month donation, and that will get your name in the credits even if the game launches, you know, 5 or 6 months later. And there will be another perk I add in here, maybe, which will also be permanent. So that's just something you can do to support me. And that is going to help me, especially because I'm going to probably be hiring somebody to help me with the marketing. So that Patreon support is going to go a long way to paying for that person. So it really is going to support the game. But also you could support me by purchasing my Udemy courses. I've got several of them. They're all linked below. I won't go too deep into those, but check those out if you're interested. And you can also join the Discord. That's free. So hope to see you there. All right, let's say hello to everyone. Hello, Dev Ghost, new boss. Yes, new boss. Hello, Meep. Sam Studio, welcome. V, good to see you. Smashwall, hello. I am new in game dev. Can you review trailer of my game? Your opinion would be greatly appreciated. Game name is Panzerdeck. I can't commit to reviewing any individual things. You're more than, I mean, you already mentioned it. You're more than welcome to ask other people what they think of the trailer. But I can't make any promises to you that I will have the time to look at it. But I would encourage you to join the Discord and post your trailer in the game dev channel, and maybe some people would comment on it. So yeah, feel free to do that. Peach emoji, peach emoji, peach emoji. Welcome, High Law. Do my eyes deceive me? Is it really new boss time? Yes, it is. I'm sick. Oh no, sorry to hear that, V. Your course in Survivors Godot 4, but now we're on 4.5. How much does it matter? It doesn't matter too much. The biggest change is the tile map system changed, but tile maps are not a huge portion of that course. Everything else is still relevant. So, have you ever used Pico or Pico? I don't know how to say Pico or Pico 8. What do you think of it? I don't. Pico 8 is just too small. I can't play Pico 8 games because they're too low resolution for me. I can't play those kinds of games. Hello, Shalurgi. Welcome back. Tiramisu, good to see you, good to see you. I love working when it's raining. Me too. I thought it was a cloak. Yeah, I don't know. It could be a cloak, but I don't know. I think it kind of looks like hair. Maybe not. Also, what does the new map look like? Sadly, I missed yesterday's stream. Yeah, I'll show you that in a second. Your course on survivors. Oh, yeah, I already answered that one. How are you doing? How was the meeting yesterday? It was good. Yeah, thank you. I'm doing well. How are you doing, Podell? Hello, Ali. Welcome back. All right, let's show the map. I still need to make some changes to the map. I'm kind of noodling around how to make these changes. The tricky thing about the map is that I have to do everything in a very efficient way because the map decoration placement can't take too long. So there's definitely a lot more like algorithm thinking that needs to be done in terms of getting these things placed well. But anyway, so this is the first region here. I don't know if you could see that very well, but you can see we got like dead trees, some grass, graveyards and whatnot. And then you go into the second region here, you've got fuller trees. This looks really good. Look at that. There's a windmill inside that forest there. Probably wouldn't see a windmill nestled in a forest, but that's okay. We don't need to be historically accurate with the map. It just needs to be a map. So we got some windmills there. The grass is different in this region. We've got flowers. We've got some little tower things here. There are definitely too many windmills being placed, but that's all right. I will definitely address that. And then the third region here also has windmills. Oh no, this is just part of the padding, I think. So the third region here, it has little towns here, little buildings, as well as mountain ranges. And I'm gonna add, I'm not finished with this region, but I'm just trying to get a feel for what the map would look like. So those are the three distinct regions. I do need to create a new road art. So there's gonna be different road art for each region as well to really sell the fact that it's part of a different region. So you can see that these roads are kind of like dirt roads, very loose, kind of not very well-defined roads. These ones are more like cobblestone roads. And I think for the third region, I'm gonna do something more like an actual paved road. So yeah, but anyway, I think the mountain ranges are looking really good. I think the villages nestled into the mountain ranges here, like in between the mountains, looks really awesome too. But it's not finished. It's a work in progress. Still got to tweak a bunch of art, still got to tweak a bunch of decoration placement, but I think it's looking pretty good overall. So yeah, that's that. You're doing great, good. Looks really good, thank you. Is this the global map or will there be more maps, each also with 3 regions? This is the map for each run. So when you start a run, it will be like this basically every time. The nodes are randomized and the decoration placement is randomized. But yeah, there will be 3 distinct regions in each run. And each run will just be about getting to that third region and beating the boss. You know, I think in terms of like what the I think the gameplay loop here is already set where you collect a bunch of upgrades and then you fight and you get all the way to the end. But I do want to do like dynamic map events. Like I want to make it feel like a map that is worth traversing. So that's probably going to go through a bunch of different iterations on like what the actual game, like the overarching gameplay loop is for this, for a run here. But I think the framework is here. It's just a matter of honing it to get it to a point where it's really fun to engage with the map and collect upgrades and beat bosses and stuff like that. Am I planning to release another course, excuse me, at a more advanced level? Not at the moment, no, I don't have any courses planned at the moment. I don't have any courses planned at the moment. So, yeah. I want Alchemortis to be the main way that I make my money into the future, but all right, so let's get this boss in the game. I already have this guy here. We can read the flavor text if we want. So the flavor text of Marshall Holt here is that the flavor text is a veteran of the King's Army, nearing 40 years in the field. His golden hair radiates supernatural vigor, and the weight of his sword alone could crush an ordinary man. So this is the boss, and what are we going to do? We need to add an ability for him, or a series of abilities. So if we look at our current boss here, Boss Mayor. So this guy projects heal, Projects fire. Why is this not... Let me... I should refactor this, but maybe we won't go that way yet. So we need to come up with a... We need to come up with an interesting set of abilities for the boss, for the Marshal Holt. It's called Boss Commander in the code. So I haven't really thought about what abilities to add. I think he should probably do quite a bit of damage. That would just be thematically appropriate. Do we want to do something interesting with the damage scaling though? Let me think. Yeah, if anyone has any ideas. How many wish lists at the moment? I think it's around 800 right now. I haven't checked it in like a week though, so we'll see. Can't you move with arrows instead of click and drag? Yes, you can. In a non-endless mode run, how many regions would there be? 3 regions, yeah. All right, I should have come up with some abilities for this guy. What should I have done? What should I do? I think damage is a good one, so let's just do ability builder dot damage. We'll just give him something like 25 damage. I think that's going to be really good. Do we want to make him scale off of some kind of weapons or something? Or maybe we can give him a heal too. Ability builder dot heal 10. We could just do damage per weapon, I think. So let's see what that does. So composed is equal to new composed ability. Query count provider is equal to new query count provider. Query count provider dot query options dot query directions is equal to board inventory component dot query directions dot entire board. Query count provider dot query options dot tag filter is equal to card tag dot weapon. Okay, var dynamic. Well, we need a value scaler is equal to new value scaler. Value scaler dot multiplier to 2. Oh, this needs to be query count provider. Var dynamic damage is equal to ability builder. Oh no. New dynamic magnitude ability. Value scaler. Target ability new damage. 0. I think that's it. Return new ability builder dot ability configuration. Abilities equals query count provider dynamic damage. What is this? Scaling function is equal to tier. We will do var scalar is equal to ability scalars dot make additive scalar. We'll just do 1. Return const float base multiplier equals 2. Base multiplier. Return scalar base multiplier tier. Value scalar dot set multiplier to that. Okay. And then description function is equal to deal value scalar dot get multiplier damage per allied weapon card. Okay. And then we can add this composed here. Do I want to add it at the beginning? Probably at the beginning, yeah. Okay. Let's see what that looks like. So we'll go to game, debug, test player cards. Let's do boss commander. Okay. The more you damage him, he spawns more unit cards because his blood corrupts the ground and morphs into some sort of hellspawn. That's a cool idea. I don't think I would go the hellspawn route because again, you are playing as the corrupted evil person, and the people that you're fighting are like good and holy. So thematically, I would flip it and say like, well, every time he takes damage, he heals based on the damage taken or something. Spawning cards on the board during execution of the gameplay is tricky for a number of reasons. One, the board may be full, and so I'd have to account for that. Number two, adding cards during the combat and slotting them into the proper turn order, I think it's going to be a technical challenge to get right, because I have to basically create temporary cards, put them on the board during the combat, but then also clean up those cards if the combat ends or when the combat ends. And I'm not even entirely sure that that's going to be great for gameplay purposes, because again, I mean, it could be interesting. Maybe I shouldn't rule that out, but I have been hesitant to do that because it's a lot of technical work, and I'm not sure that it's going to add that much. I'm not sure that it's going to be interesting enough to be worth the effort, I guess is what I'm saying. He could do 360s with a sword like Lol's Garen. Each full rotation stacks of damage. Player stops the momentum with interrupts, which could be big damage spikes above X. Okay, interesting. Yeah, Spinner Boy. Bloodspawn has limited lifespan. Yeah, I mean, I like the idea. I could flip it. I could say, like, every time he takes damage, he calls up a militia unit or whatever, and the militia unit is just like a little 1x1 unit that does additional damage. But I can accomplish the same thing within the ability without spawning cards, right? So I could flip that even and say every time this board takes damage, he gains like Berserk or whatever, which deals more damage. So I think there's a way to accomplish the same effect without necessarily adding more cards to the board. Scaling through a cumulative turn speed. Each spin equals -1 turn. Oh yeah. So oh, I could add that. So like he strikes faster and fast. That's an interesting card idea. Let me add that. I hope there's nothing incriminating on here. Okay. Ability ideas. Let's do this. Reduce turn cooldown for each execution. Anyway, let's see what he looks like. Marshall Holt. Deal 2 damage per allied weapon card. Deal 25 damage, heal 10. Cool. Good morning, Michael. Was working on my game last night and saw it work for the first time, and that's always a magical feeling. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Love the art style of this new game so much. Thank you. Yeah. Yeah, it is indeed a good feeling when everything starts to work. Okay, so I think I'm pretty confident that this is going to work, but maybe we should try it. Actually, let's keep God mode in there. Ceremonial dagger and also axe. Cool. He's also got a 10% crit chance. So I'm just going to see what this looks like. I'm dealing with some lag issues, so I'm actually going to turn my mouse polling rate down. There's a bug with Godot right now where if you're using a high polling rate mouse, it causes lag spikes in your game, which is really annoying. So I just turned my polling rate down. Hopefully that fixes that. But for anyone that played the playtest and reported that their game was lagging, it's probably because of that issue. So anyway, I spent yesterday afternoon testing the potential fix for that issue. There's a PR open for it. And so I put my test results. Hopefully that will get merged for 4.6. Marshall Holt dealt 25 damage and healed 10. Nice. It's time for Game Dev once again. Yes, indeed. Welcome back, Jackie Daytona. Always good to see you. Dude, I love this guy. This guy is just awesome. I saw a post online the other day. It was something like, everything you thought was cool when you were 12 years old is actually cool. So like big, huge knights with huge swords. Yeah, that's cool. Oh, we dealt 50 damage. Wow. This is probably going to be a tough boss, actually. Okay, so now we actually need to get this into the game. May change his abilities in the future, but... let's just roll with what we've got here. So now I actually have to figure out how the boss is being done. Combat configuration. Generate boss configuration. So right now I just hard-coded the boss mayor here. I think maybe in my card registry what I need to do private static read-only dictionary int list string notoriety region to boss IDs. Public static list string get boss cards for notoriety region. That'll work. So now when we register the cards, boss IDs.add. List nullable equals empty. List.add ID. Okay, that should work. Okay, so now if I go to combat configuration here, we're just going to do this. Let's do card registry dot get boss cards for notoriety region args dot notoriety region dot first or default, otherwise default to card boss mayor. Okay, let's do this now. Now the cat, it's time for the cat to be annoying. It's time for the cat to be annoying once again. Okay. Debug notoriety level. Okay. Game debug. Okay. I just want to see what that does. Hopefully it works. So what should happen is I'll visit a node, it will thrust me into the first boss fight, then I visit another node, it will thrust me into the second boss fight. Or no, I'm gonna have to visit a couple of nodes actually. Okay. That guy's done. So no, I'm at 99 out of 100 again, so I need to do this. Have to visit a couple of nodes. Good morning, Emerson. Welcome back. Catting. Good morning, Ninja Link. Always good to see you all. Always good to see the new people and the regulars. Is that not actually taking my money? I don't think that is. Commander Holt. Oh, he's not flipped. That's okay. Marshall Holt. Sorry, I keep forgetting. Oh my gosh, that's a lot of coins. Cool. I want to see how badly this board is going to wreck me, though. Very badly indeed. Okay, so that appears to be working. I just need to make him flippable. Is flippable, yes. You should implement a feature when in debug mode. You can click on any node and enter it from anywhere. Yeah, I should probably do that. Oops. Pumpkin Patch. New boss, yes indeed. Brooklyn 99. I don't know what that what that's a reference to. No, I don't have it where I can visit any node. Thought it was going to be William Marshall. His helmet makes it hard to see, to be fair. No wonder he's looking the wrong way. Yeah. Game looks promising. Keep going. Thank you, David. Very much appreciate that. I think it is promising. I just need to not drop the ball. I think the hardest aspects of the game in terms of like the technicals are over. I think I have a very strong like technical foundation. I think the next challenge is just going to be mostly game design. Like I want to get this whole run feeling really, really good. And I don't know. I might have to solicit some help on that. But we'll see. There we go. Oh my gosh. 41 damage, jeepers. So I'm not really going to know how this feels without actually going through a run and trying to up my power quite a bit. So we're going to have to figure that out, but I think generally speaking this is generating a sensible board. Deal 4 damage per allied weapon card, and there's 5, 6. Oh my gosh. Might be a little strong. Anyway, that's working. So now we probably want to do this. We want to make them legendary. Guaranteed card IDs. We'll set it as legendary. And balancing, yeah. Brooklyn Nine-Nine, one of the main characters is named Captain Holt. Oh, I see, okay. Bosses can scale with tiers, that sounds very painful. Yeah, they can. I may not have that. I don't know. It could be like a New Game Plus setting too, like the bosses only scale with New Game Plus. Lots of questions to answer. Okay, this is set as legendary, but it doesn't have its ability. It doesn't have the card effects. Why is that not happening? Oh, probably because if I go to my card here, let's see. What did I call it? Card background effects viewport. Update render mode. On made legendary. Oh, I see. I'll just call on made legendary here, I guess. Hello, Clickertail, welcome back. They scale with tiers and tiers, yes. What is Brooklyn Nine-Nine? I think it's a TV show, right? There we go. Cool, I think that'll work. For the life of me, can't get a proper drag and drop to and from arrays properly like you have. Yeah, it can be hard. Drag and drop can be hard. Again, I think the advice that I would give if you want advice is to separate your data from your visuals. So what you want is you want to have like a drag and drop manager that contains the arrays of data or whatever, and then it needs to emit a signal whenever that changes. So when an element is removed from the array, when an element is added to the array, when the array is resized, all that stuff should be emitted via signals, and then your UI should be purely responsive to that. And then what I would also do is you create your own API for interacting with the data, right? So you would have a function called like add to next empty slot, and you would have a function called expand inventory or expand array or whatever, and then you'd have a function replace item at slot or remove item at slot. So you kind of want to view it as like you're making your own little like library with a clean API that has very plain English language names for the operations. And then every time one of those operations happens, every time the array contents change, you emit a signal to that effect, and then you listen for all those signals in your UI to update them properly. Just some sitcom. Hello, Defected Gaming. Welcome back. Shouldn't the mayor have a name too? And could show new boss's abilities again? Yeah, so this is the boss's abilities. Deal 2 damage per allied weapon card, deal 25 damage, and heal 10. And the mayor probably should have a name, yeah. Interesting. Yeah, I hope it helps. I just want to see what the new boss looks like with the legendary. Cool, I think that's looking fine. Instructions unclear, now adding plain English code, yeah. Okay. I think that's looking good. I think that's looking good. Make that done. Okay. I think it would make sense to do a playtest at this point, but I do want to fix some things first, like this card booster's not taking money. Let me fix that. I think that's all I need to do. Okay, I think that's all I need to do. I also experimented with my data layer using a reactive library R3, so that made it trivial to update my view only when necessary without too much boilerplate, but that's all C# only. Boss is stacked, yeah. Generally speaking, what's the most amount of lines in one script of the games you made? I would say that my longest scripts tend to be around 700 lines, 700 to 800 lines. I think, like my card, or my base card rather, I think this is maybe the longest script in the game, or maybe not. It's 616 lines. So if I give myself some blood. Perfect, okay. Them's rookie numbers, yeah. My scripts, I try not to make them too long. But 600 lines, you know, it's like you can't really go just based on line count. Like if the card is, or if the script is still doing all the stuff that's relevant to that class and the class just happens to be big, you know, that's one thing. But if your script is, you know, 1,000 lines because your class is doing 40 different things, then that's a good opportunity to break things up. But yeah, my base card class here, it's all this stuff is relevant to the card itself. So I don't really think it needs to be broken up any. Anyway. And it's uncommented mostly, yeah. 600 ain't nothing. Yeah, I don't think 600 is very, very high of a line count. In the comments, it's like I don't really need comments, right? Like all of my methods are named appropriately. Like what does this method do? Oh, it gets all composed abilities. Okay. What does this method do? It executes abilities, right? So yeah, I don't think comments are not necessary. I don't think if you're writing your code well, most of the time comments aren't going to be necessary. We need to put that number into the thousands, yeah. Okay. So I fixed that. Okay, so I think it would be useful to do a playthrough and see how feasible it is to beat this boss. So let's get that all set up here. We want to turn off Hide Fog of War, and we want to turn this off, and we also want to turn this off. Okay. Okay. I'm going to take a quick break, though, a little bit earlier than usual, but I do need a break. So I'm just going to be back in like 2 minutes here, and then we're going to do a playthrough. I'm going to see if I can get to that second boss and beat it in a run, and we'll take notes and stuff about how the game is feeling, but yeah, we'll see how it goes. So anyway, I'll be right back in just 2 minutes. Okay, I'm back. Let's do a playtest now. Hopefully, oh, you know what I should do? I have this bug here where the game crashed after beating a boss, but it didn't leave any errors. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to run with the debugger attached, so that if an exception comes up, I'll be able to investigate that. All right, let's do it. Fresh run. Commenting code is vastly overrated. Code should be readable by default. I only ever see to do or this is dumb, but it's done because of X comments. Yeah, I think what I would say is comments would be necessary if you're doing something that's like a very sophisticated algorithm. Like one area where I could see it being useful is like if you're doing like a cryptography algorithm, for instance, right? Because that involves a lot of weird math, bit shifting operations, seeds and whatnot. And it doesn't become clear like why certain operations are being done. And so it may be useful to leave a comment that says why a certain line is there, or even just leaving a comment with a link to the documentation that describes the implementation of the algorithm. I think that's a situation where a comment can be really useful. But if you're just like shuffling data around, which is what most like gameplay programming and software programming is like you're just taking data from one input and reformatting it, shuffling it around, doing stuff with the data and storing it elsewhere. That should basically be understandable just by the name of your variables and the name of the methods and the classes, and that should all be self-documented to some extent. Like you don't, if you have a line of code that says add card to board, and then you write a comment that says this adds a card to the board, it's like, well, obviously that's what the method is called, you know? So yeah, a to-do here and there is fine. A comment for a very, very sophisticated piece of code that's not immediately obvious to a reader what it's doing is a good place for a comment. But beyond that, yeah, I don't think comments are that useful beyond those situations. Was that your God Mode chicken wing card? It was indeed. Actually, it's mutton, but that's all right. Count up by 1 1,000 times, yeah. Phone typing, sorry everyone. Yeah, that's all right. The ghost in the shell, the errorless error, the Bitcoin miners already got your machine. Yeah, well. Anyway, what do I want to do here? Let's see. Maybe we'll hit... Let's go this way. I'm going to do enchant combat booster, enchant upgrade combat. Let's do that. All right, what do we got for enchantments? Converts all damage dealt to preserve. Let's just throw that on. Why not? We'll throw that on, and then we'll also put that guy there. Let's go here. This one should be relatively easy. Of course, I get critted. Okay, so I'm just going to turn this up because this board is going to die to necrosis, I think. Yeah. Goodbye. Okay. Guarantees minion card, ritual card, weapon card. Let's just go with the free minion for now. Grab all those. What did I say? Enchant again. Let me just make sure this still works. This encounter is too weak to add more enchantments to this card. Applies 10%. Oh, that's off the screen. That needs to be fixed. Well, this applies fire here. Let's just put that on there, I suppose. Okay, now we'll go to an upgrade here. Let's upgrade my damaging skeleton. There we go. All right, I need a board size increase. There it is. Friar prayer beads. I think this will be fine. Cool. Go to this one. Oh, this is going to be a tough one. I think it will be okay, though. Yep. Increase board size here. All right. Let's just put that on there. Why not? Okay. Alchemy tier 1. Do I want to alchemize anything? I might as well. try to alchemize these two. 8 damage, 0 fire. Oh, there we go. Yep, that's perfect. That's exactly what I wanted. 6 turn cooldown. Yeah, let's put that in there. Boom. Okay. Probably gonna want some more card, although there's an increased board size there. I can probably beat these combats here. So if I went this way and then swung back down here to get this stuff. Although there's some pressure now because I want to make sure that I'm near the second region by the time this bar fills up. So I don't know. I want that increased board size. Why is the game developer giving me interesting choices? Why is this happening? Oh, but this is going to apply fire because now there's healing. Yep, look at this. This is applying 34 fire. Fire grows by 2 every time the enemy heals. Yep. That's an anti-heal board right there. Okay, we'll grab this. All right, I can put the leech on here now. So there's the checkpoint. Let's just keep going this way. This is going to build up my money as well. Okay. We'll go this way. Draw bespoke gravestones for each type so that players don't always have to mouse over to see which is which and just glance at them instead. Yeah, I have that planned. I just haven't made time to do that. Hello, Mun. Welcome back. Hello, Lucas. Good day to you as well. Might as well go with the free weapon, I suppose. Ooh, a grimoire. Applies one of the following effects at random. Well, I get to keep all these, so I might as well put the axe there. There's an artifact there, so I can hit the alchemy and swing this way. I do want to upgrade my health, too. That's going to be important. What do I want to alchemize? Let's do skeletons. Okay, so again, I changed the alchemy so that it randomizes the turn cooldown. So this axe has 7 turns. That's going to be good right there. We'll go down this way. Just go for the free one, I suppose. Okay, artifact tier 1. Vampire Fangs Spiderling Minion. Let's do that actually. Spiderling Minion sounds good to me. Let's just purchase the top health increase here. I think that's going to be useful. Okay, I'm at 84. I need to position myself. I think there's probably another checkpoint up here. I need to position myself so I can get into the next region, so let's see. That's an 8 notoriety cost. That's 5. I can grab another artifact this way. 3. Okay, I think I'm going to go this way. Hopefully that helps. So we'll go here. Just grab the free one. Oh, Snail Cat! Exhaust all alchemical cards. For each one exhausted, increases enemies' status stacks by 50% of their existing value. Heart of Stovak. Healed 2 for each allied card execution since last execution. Well, we'll keep that. I'm going to sell the Alembic. I don't like the Alembic. Let's see. Snail Cat. Can I fit Snail Cat in here? No. We can get rid of these axes. Put Snail Cat there. Abomination. Well, I just got rid of all my weapons, so we'll sell that guy, and then we'll put the Hellspawn Egg there. Okay. I could put the heart in here, might as well. Okay, artifact. Broken sundial telescope. Gain 5 additional blood. Let's just take the telescope so I can see clearer. Okay, there's the checkpoint up there. Cool. All right. So I've got 7. Okay, this is good. That's an alchemy tier 2 as well. Although there's a shop there. And another artifact. Oh no. Wait, so if I do this, that'll put me at 96. That will put me at the boss, and then I can move this way. Okay. Do I want to hit the shop? I don't know if I want to hit the shop. I've got plenty of cards in my inventory. It's just a tier 1 shop. I suppose I could take the risk. I should put more information on the shop too. I could take the risk and hope for another like grow board event. Maybe I'll put that information on there. Let's see. Add more details about which events the shop offers. I don't know. I guess there's kind of like a tension between how much information do I tell the player and how much do I leave it up to taking a risk. Like, would it be better if I said in the shop tooltip what events the shop offered for purchase, or is it better to leave it empty and have the player take a risk that they're going to get the thing that they want? I don't know which one would be more interesting, because I can see it both ways. Because like, if I know that there's something I can make use of, but it pulls me farther away from where I need to be, that is an interesting decision to make. But it's also equally interesting to take a chance and visit a shop and either have or not have the item you're looking for. I don't know. Any opinions on that? I really can't wait to play this game. Every time I see it, it hypes me up even more. I'm glad to hear that. Thank you, Mun. Still can't get over how good the UI is. Thank you. Really like the graphic style. Thank you, Alex. Tried so hard to get the Hellspawn egg and hatch during the playtest. Could never manage to get 4 combats after the card. Yeah, I think I probably should have made the card require less combats for the playtest, but it definitely is a card that's designed to stay in your inventory for a while, so it's going to be more useful now that the game is longer. Let the greed take hold. I still don't know if I should use 320 by 180 or 640 by 360. Yeah, that's going to have to be your decision. Yeah, whatever feels and looks better to you. What does the Hellspawn egg do? Intrigued by that crazy 666 turn cooldown? Yeah, so the 666 was basically just a way of saying that this is never going to execute during combat, but it hatches after 4 combat victories. And when it hatches, it actually gets replaced with a minion that like projects fire damage. So it's basically something that you have to hold on to in your inventory until you can get the minion, which is relatively powerful, out of it. But the interesting thing is that you can actually alchemize this. So you can alchemize the Hellspawn egg before it hatches, and when it hatches, it will inherit all of the alchemical properties when it hatches. Are the locations, positions proc gen? Yes, they are. I feel like the cost of getting to the shop is enough. Maybe reveal some of the contents, but not all. Personally, prefer to know what the shop will have type-wise. New boss excited? Yes, welcome Rookie Tookie. Hello Neozoid, welcome back. Is there a possibility to get intercepted, ambushed while traveling from one location to another? Not yet. I mean, that's part of like the dynamic map events that I want to try to add into the game. Does the combat win count even when it's in your inventory? Yes, yes. Tell you to keep it alive, 666 turns in a single fight to hatch it? No, no. All right, I'm gonna skip the shop. I feel like my board is pretty powerful, so I'm feeling confident. I don't have enough opportunities to spend my money, though. That's kind of a problem. Okay, boss fight time. Oh, wow. Well, let's see what happens. He's only got 120 health, so I should be able to... He's going to apply a lot of fire to me, though. 28 fire. Oh, but I healed it. It's fine. Good. Good, good, good. Okay. So we've got tier 2 alchemy here. So this is a bigger board. Snail cat. Oh, and I've got some spiderlings here. here's what I'm going to do. Grimoire, Spiderling. There we go. And now I've got a 1/1 card with a 6-turn cooldown. Although this... Oh, wait. Yeah. So we'll take this. I don't really want this one. I think what I'll do is put the Spiderling in there instead. Although maybe... You know what? This Leech is actually not doing much. I'm going to put the Heart back, and then I'll just put another Spiderling card here so that it triggers... Oh, wait. This Spiderling doesn't have Swarm anymore. Oh. Well, we'll just keep it there, I guess. Okay. Longbowman, Blacksmith, Tools, Quiver 2. Or Quiver 3, rather. Where do I want to go? There's a shop there. Maybe I'll make my way to that shop. We can hit the booster here. Okay. Always place it on my board while playing. Oh, yeah. I definitely need to do a pass on like the item descriptions and standardize the language and stuff, because I think it is kind of vague sometimes. I'm trying to come up with like a very consistent use of language. So if you know the game Path of Exile, there's a lot of item descriptions and ability descriptions, but they're very consistent with their language. So there's consistent even to the point where like saying additional damage is different than saying more damage. When they say more damage, it's something like a multiplier, and additional is something like adding it to the base or whatever. But like those Path of Exile game designers are very consistent with their use of language, such that even from a plain English language description, you can kind of infer or understand the way that the ability works because they're consistent in their use of language. So I kind of want to do the same thing if possible, where it's going to take you a little bit to learn what it means, but anytime it says like, you know, hatches after 4 combat victories, it should be understood that that's global, that it doesn't have to be in your board. Anyway, I think I should probably be fine here. Yeah. Maybe map events can reveal lore stuff. Yeah, I think so. I think that would be a good one. I just switched up all my custom interpolation code with async tweens. Why did I not do it earlier? Nice. Yeah, tweens are very powerful. I don't really understand all the game dev stuff, but when you created your sprites, do you think about how big in pixels it's going to be beforehand? And does it correlate somehow with your game's res? So usually what I'll do, the first thing that I did in this game is I decided what size each of the grid cells I wanted to be. And I ended up with a size that's kind of weird, 18 by 18, because I thought 16 by 16 was too small, and I thought 20 by 20 was too big. So I settled on 18 by 18. And then that basically informs like how big the card art needs to be, right? Because they need to fit inside a clump of cells. So, like the snail cat, if it's 2 by 2, then it needs to be a certain dimension, right? Like it's a hard dimension that it needs to fit inside. So usually I'll try to decide on like a core part of my game, like the grid size, and then once I settle on that, I can determine everything else. Another common thing to do is, you know, decide on like the tile map size, and then draw your characters in relation to that. Yeah, you do have to do a little bit of planning for sure. What you can also do, what I recommend doing is like, if you're not sure, open up a sprite and set the canvas size to the resolution that you want to use, and then start drawing stuff on that canvas and see what it looks like, you know? So if you're interested, if you want to see, what does 640 by 360 look like? Create a 640 by 360 canvas and then draw a character to about the size that you want it to be in game and see how that feels, you know? I would definitely recommend doing some mock-ups like that before you commit to anything. But you should also not be afraid of committing. Like I think a lot of people hem and haw about like, what resolution should I use? Once you've decided on your resolution, just adopt that as a constraint and just say, okay, from here on out, everything has to work with this resolution, and just like incorporate that as a part of your workflow. Like adopt it as a challenge, you know? Like I decided, hey, this game is only going to ever use 8 colors, and that's something that I'm rigidly adhering to, and it does feel restrictive, but it's a decision that I'm not going back on. So I'm just working with that constraint. Wow, this shop is stacked. I have a lot of money too. What do I want to do? Visiting cleared nodes incurs no notoriety penalty. Let's grab that. Let's purchase the upgrade board. Oh, it hatched. My imp hatched. Projects to adjacent cards, apply 7 fire. This would actually be nutty with the spiderlings. Oh, I'm kind of tempted to do that. Wait. I kind of want to, I might as well just buy this. I have plenty of money. Let's purchase an upgrade here. We'll upgrade the imp. This should do 9 fire, I think. Yeah. Cool. And then let's do alchemy. Ooh, we got a big alchemy board here. Do I dare do it? Do I dare do the, well, let me think. Oh. I feel like YOLOing it right now. I probably shouldn't, but I feel like YOLOing it. These 3 together. Let's go. Okay. Heal 3 for each allied card since last execution. Projects to adjacent cards. Damn, I lost the snail cat ability. Okay, well, let's see. This is okay. I basically didn't lose much there, so that's okay. We can put this heart there. And then let's just put another spiderling on the board. Or do I want to? No. Let's get the leech. Okay, I think that will work. Okay, anyway. Oh, another alchemy here. I didn't plan this well. This skeleton is actually very weak. Let's get rid of the skeleton. Let's do this. Is this a minion? Yeah, it is a minion. Let's do this. Let's just put a bunch of spiderlings on the board. Legendary. Oh my gosh, look at that. Oh my goodness. It's got 4 swarms on it. Holy macaronis. Okay. Wow. Okay, that's a monster spiderling. Holy macaro. Okay, and it's a 3-turn cooldown. Jeez. Spiderlings might be OP. Does a player have allied NPC? No, I mean, there's not really a concept of NPCs in this game, unless you count the cards. Hello, Zombie Biscuit. PoE descriptions are top tier, yeah. MTG levels of consistency, aka avoid being a Warhammer 40k rules writer, yeah. I don't do pixel art, but I would start at picking base resolution, making some sort of base layout, yeah. Do you ever feel that you are working with Unity or Unreal instead of Godot, or are you fully satisfied? No, I'm satisfied with Godot, yeah. I like Godot. Welcome back, Electro Nest. You're welcome, Dominic. How do you get the art to scale in Godot but not get cut off screen? I tried pixel art game this weekend, but when I set the scale to 2, everything goes off screen. Oh, I think, yeah, the scaling settings in the scale setting in the description, I think that just stretches the whole screen beyond the viewport. I think you just need to use a lower resolution if you want to have things scale up to be enlarged. I don't really know what that scale property is for, but yeah, that's not going to produce the result that you want, I don't think. It's a curse most of us share. Did you ever figure out how you will nerf poison decks? Those things were broken in the playtest. I did, yeah, I nerfed it. The poison now does less damage overall, and it falls off after 3 turns, so. I'm using assets from Itch heavily in what I'm working on. I'm wondering if you got any tips for this situation. Using pixel art, like pre-made pixel art assets, is hard because they might be done with different sizes in mind. So yeah, I think that honestly, I probably wouldn't ever use pixel art packs, like multiple disparate pixel art packs for my game. I would just try to find one pack or a series of packs from the same artist and the same style to use. So, but I don't have any concrete tips. Should I just ignore the screen size outline and deal with it? Yeah, I think just don't use the scale setting in the settings and just get your resolution to the point where you want it to be in terms of the sizing. Is there a layered combat kind of location? As in once won, it automatically starts the next layer's enemy without resetting your card, and if won, the next enemy rewards deepen based on how many layers won. No, but that's an interesting idea. I know it's a bit early, but I'd love to help with the French translation for the game when needed if you're interested. Yeah, translation is something I haven't figured out yet, but I will keep that in mind. Thank you. Maybe a fortress kind of location to simulate layered defenses. Yeah, that would be cool. The thing is nutty, yeah. Seems like you're liking the tooltip after all. I am. What do 4 swarms and a single card even do? Yeah, we're about to find out. Weakest spider in Australia. Shame you don't have more swarm cards. Yeah, more will be coming. What's the largest weapon card do you have? I think the largest one I have is 3 pixels. I think it's 3 cells wide and 1 cell tall is the largest one. You're welcome, V. How to achieve the fog effect when player is moving to the area while unlock. So the fog effect is hard to describe, but basically imagine you have like a fully black texture and you put that over the screen. And then what you do is you draw, for each point that you've discovered, you draw a radial white gradient on that black texture. And what that will do is that will create areas of pure white in the center that go to grayscale as it goes out of the gradient. And then what you can do is you can use a shader to punch holes in the black texture in accordance with the white portion. So anywhere where it's white is fully transparent, and anywhere where it's black is fully opaque. Now I'm not doing transparency, so what I do is at a certain grayscale value, I actually have a noise texture that's animating. So you can kind of see it very clearly here. There's a gradient that's on the texture that's like a circle here, and that punches a hole inside of the fog. And then at a certain grayscale value, as you go outward from the gradient, it does this fog effect. And then beyond that value, it's pure black. So it's a shader, basically. That's all it is. It's just a shader. I don't know where to go. Maybe we'll hit that booster and that enchant there. I don't know. I think... Well, actually, I don't have multiple swarm cards on the board, so it's actually not going to do anything right now. Oh my gosh. Well, that might be a little bit broken. Enchantment tier 3. Do I dare do it? Do I just break the game even more? I could reduce this turn cooldown by 1. I guess we're breaking the game. I guess we're breaking the game. Do I even need any of these other cards? Oh my gosh. Okay. All right, well, is there even any point to doing anything else? I might just blow through these combats and just rack up money. Oh my gosh. Is any other card even going? Yeah, it's probably too powerful. Just blasting through these combat encounters. Goodness gracious. Why is that doing so much damage? I can help with Polish. All right. So those unlocked areas should be stored in file. Yeah, I mean, I have a list of points that represent the unlocked areas, and each of those points is where the gradient is drawn. From where did you learn shaders? Really curious. I didn't really learn them from anywhere. I just learned them over time by trying to apply them to my games. I'm still not like an expert in shaders or anything, but I don't know what multiple swarm does. I think it works, but let's upgrade this guy. Upgrade the legendary spiderling. Oh my gosh. What am I gonna do about this? Let's just fight the boss early. Goodbye. Oh no. Okay, well, I broke the game. What am I gonna do about that? Maybe I have to remove legendary alchemies. Because that's the only reason that happened, is because I got the legendary effect. Do you black? You do black for visible and white for transparency. I always do white for anything visible and black for anything invisible, due to multiplying the values together. Yeah, I mean, that works. I don't think it matters what you use. I mean, all the basics for the beginner. I mean, like I said, I didn't learn it from anywhere. I just learned piecemeal as I go, trying to do basic things. Have you started game dev during normal job? How did you stick to it? Yeah, I did. I used to do game dev after my normal 9-to-5 job. How did I stick to it? I mean, I think a lot of it's just discipline. You got to get into a habit of working on it. If you have a schedule, it helps. Like, work on it at the same time every night, or work on it in the morning if you wake up early. But yeah, I mean, it gets to the point eventually where you want to work on your game, and so it becomes easier, but you do need to build up a habit of doing it first. I think black for opaque and certain gray range will be turned into noise, and the white becomes alpha 0. I very much like to break games. Why is it doing so much damage as he has to scroll down 4x to view the spider's abilities in full? Spiderheimer. Yeah. Is bat enemy included in the game? I don't have a bat, no. That would be a good idea. I didn't even get to see the boss that I've been waiting to see. Yeah, I didn't really get to test the boss either, because I was like trying to figure out if the boss was going to be too hard, but it turns out I just annihilate everything, so. Don't remove it, change it to 1%. Well, there's the lead ingot, right? The lead ingot can give you the guaranteed alchemy, a legendary output, so yeah. Breaking a game is good, because I'm sure at times newer enemies will power creep to make the game interesting. Honestly, I think maybe part of the problem is just the spiderlings have a really low turn cooldown. I mean, I think there's a couple of things. So one, the legendary alchemy, especially if you have the lead ingot, which will guarantee a legendary, it's going to be very easy to just create an absolutely broken card, which is fine. I mean, there's a couple of problems. I think the combat is a little bit too quick too. I think the combat is a little bit too quick, so I may do like another round of nerfing damages and stuff. Maybe I should just start with nerfing damage. I think part of the problem is the combat is too quick, because even at the early levels, like combat is over in like a handful of executions, which is, you know, I want it to play out a little bit more than that. So maybe I should nerf the damages again. And then that might just make it so that the spiderling, like when you alchemize a legendary thing, it just naturally becomes not as powerful. I could increase the health scaling too, although I have a little bit of a problem, which is that my health globe down here can really only fit numbers that are 3 characters long on each side. So theoretically, the max health that I could go to is 999, because if I get to 1,000 health, it's going to bleed outside of this little area here. Now I could make the area bigger. I guess that's not a problem, but and I could do both. I could inflate the health values and also reduce the damage. I think one of the problems right now is like there's a lot of interesting synergies that just aren't being seen because the combat ends too quickly. And if the spiderlings are too powerful, I can always increase the turn cooldown. So this was dealing 18 damage, 4 damage, or no, 18, 20, 22, 28, no, 30, 32, 34, and then, so 34 raw damage, and then 4, 6, 8 poison. I think the big problem here was actually the ramping poison. I don't think the raw damage was that big. Well, I guess it was big, because if it's dealing 34 damage per turn and it's doing that every 2 turns, that's quite a lot of damage. I kind of wonder if I should just nerf the damage values across the board again. Maybe that would be a good place to start. Nerf the damage values across the board. Maybe we'll do that. Don't remove it. Breaking game is fun. I vote for reagent-based alchemy to increase anything above the base mechanic. Yeah, so maybe just remove the possibility to get a legendary output just by chance. Most things costing blood could be a move on all nodes outside of even the shop. Price scales with card power. Most things costing blood could be a move. Price scales with card power. Oh, I see. Yeah, so instead of just being able to do alchemy for free, you have to spend money to do it, spend blood to do it. That could work. So maybe alchemy, maybe the way that it could work is that every card above the first 2 or whatever could add to a scaling cost increase. Yeah, because I do want you to be able to gain power for free. Because what if you're having trouble making money through combats? You should still be able to get free upgrades, but maybe the more powerful upgrades cost more. Yeah, we could do that. So let's do this. Experiment. Blood. Okay, so we can try that. Further reduce damage across the board. I might have to change the poison again. Yeah, I do want, like, I'm not gonna totally remove the ability to break the game, but right now it's a little bit too easy. It's 100% the swarm mechanic. Well, here's the thing, I nerfed the swarm mechanic, and the swarm wasn't even affecting the card that was doing all the damage. Like, even if I had nothing else on the board, that one spider was going to just murder everything. How about a bat which sucks player's blood? All vampire type game will have a bat enemy. Yeah, we could do something like that. Hello, Artem. Welcome. Oh, a vampire would be a good idea for a card. Player card ideas, vampire. Let's also write bat. Maybe the lead ingot should only increase the percent chance, not guaranteed. Imagine if the defeated boss becomes a corrupted version with deformed sprite recruited into our rank as a card or an ultimate. When a player is in a map, have a cloud which moves over the map. If the player is too long in the map, the player will go mad and controls it. I don't know about that one. I like to give the player the ability to plan and take as much time as they need. What else do you think I need after the Survivor's Course to create an Enter the Gungeon style game? I think you can just go right into it. You're probably going to encounter some barriers, but I think that's part of the learning process. If you feel comfortable enough, you could I would say just start and handle the issues and what you need to learn as they come up. Lantern will remove effect madness, and lantern oil we get from chests or defeating enemies. I don't know about that. I mean, I do have like a spreading mechanic where the Inquisition spreads throughout the map, but I still need to think about that. I need to get the balance done before I think about how like the dynamic map events and stuff work. I think for skill indicators of the same type, there should be a segment in the card that sums up the numbers. So you have 10 lines that say deal 2 poison. Somewhere it should say deal 10 poison. I have it. Yeah, I mean, I could do like a summary, I suppose. Make legendary cards super rare. Can also add costs outside blood. For example, level 2 alchemy requires 2 reagents. 2 items from inventory in addition to the ones in the pot. Yeah, that could work. If you hover over skill indicator, it would display a small text box that searches all skill indicators of the same type in that card and displays the total. That could work. Yeah, definitely some quality of life stuff I could do there. Hello, Sancho. Welcome. Good to see you. Gamble of more cards to get worse ability sets is a pretty steep price already. Yeah. There exists a world where you could have done that alchemy and got a spider with 3 swarms and nothing else. Right. Yeah, I think that's true. I do have a problem, though, of like I have too much blood and not enough to spend it on. So maybe allowing blood as a way of, I don't know, there needs to be more like currency sinks, I guess. Swarm seems to be for simulating advantage of small numerous units. Maybe scale the effect based on the card size difference of the swarm card versus the target card. Bigger target card takes less damage, etc. Yeah, that's an interesting idea. I'm gonna have to think about all that. I think the thing that I want to do for sure is reduce the damage values, because if I go back into the game here, like even this skeleton dealing 6 damage is it's like trivializing the combats to some extent. So like here, the Ox barely has any time to ramp up, and maybe the Ox just needs to have its turn cooldown reduced, but look at that. It's like, it's not even close, right? What is the turn cooldown of the Ox? Maybe I should just turn that down. 11. Let's make it 9. All right, the game is balanced now. Okay, I'll tell you what. I'm going to take another quick 2 or 3 minute break, and when I come back, we're just going to take a pass. I'm just going to reduce the numbers of everything across the board, all the damage stuff. And I'm going to see how that feels. So that's going to be... Well, that's going to be quite an effort, I think. Maybe not, because I can just go down these cards and just change the numbers here. And then I want to also change the ability scalars here. So we'll change these scalars. Yeah, we're going to do that. We're going to see how that feels. I want the combat encounters to last a little bit longer because there are some synergies that take a couple of turns to ramp up. And right now it's just, I'm not feeling as a player, I'm not feeling any danger from any of the boards that I'm entering really. If I ever feel danger from a board, it's because it just has one card that deals a lot of damage, but there should be more of a sense of like certain combinations of enemies are going to be bad for your board, especially if they have time to ramp up, right? So we're going to see how that works. Are units primarily destroyed in combat? Nothing gets destroyed, no. Nothing gets destroyed. Had to finish editing a video and upload to YouTube. Oh, nice. Very nice. You can feel free to share that in the Discord if it's game dev related Defected Gaming in the Firebelly Discord. Okay, give me just 3 minutes. I'm gonna take a quick break, and then when I come back, we're gonna tweak a bunch of numbers, and we're gonna see how that feels. So I'll be right back in just a second. Okay, let's bring an axe to all these numbers. We're gonna get in here, we're gonna just nerf the heck out of everything. We're gonna slam this thing to the ground. We're gonna make everything feel super weak and ineffective so that way you have to sit through the combat like a chore. No, we're not gonna do that, but I think it is gonna make the game more interesting. All right, It's pixel art related, not necessarily game dev, so unless I get specific permission to share that. I mean, I think it's pixel art. I mean, even if it's just an art piece. Tell you what, if I don't like the video, I'll delete it from Discord. How's that? So you can go ahead and post it if you want. You don't have to if you don't want to either, but feel free to share. Dev took one break more than usual, went mad. Yep. Okay. So first, let's change these ability scalars. Okay. Bleed scalar, fire scalar. I'm just gonna turn these way down. Shield scalar. The shield actually seems mostly fine to me. Just turn these all down to 1, 2, 3. Why not? Get heal scalar. 1, 2, 3. That's probably fine. Okay. So we changed the ability scalars. Now let's go through the cards and just tweak this. So deal damage per adjacent weapon. Let's turn this down to 3. Boom. Done. All right, Alembic. This card is not useful at all. I might just redesign that card. Amanita. Poison 2. That's probably fine. Ancient Coin. That's okay, probably. Arming Sword. Damage. Shield. Let's just turn out the damage by 1. Axe. Yeah, this needs to be done. Let's turn that down to 4 because it's going to deal double damage if it's next to an adjacent minion. So I just nerfed it from it used to do 14 damage, now it does 8 damage if it's got the synergy. Okay, Barkeep. Ability projects damage. Let's do project 2 damage. Barkeep doing 8 damage is probably okay. Battle Standard. Projected Swarm, that's okay. Battle Trumpet, that's okay. Critical Chance buff, that's okay. That's okay. Boss Commander. Let's keep the boss. Let's just keep the bosses the way that they are. Candle, Simple Fire, we'll turn that down to 2. Carrot. Turn down a shield. Cat. The cat doesn't feel very dangerous, so I'll just leave the cat the way it is. Chicken. Chickens are good. Corvid. I have not really made good use of the Corvid, but I think it makes sense to turn it down because it has this conditional echo. Let's do 5, actually. So if there's 2 Corvids on the board, they're each going to do 10 damage, which actually probably is a lot, but whatever. We'll just keep going. Cultist. I think the Cultist is fine. The Cultist doesn't feel too powerful to me. We can tweak these as we go. The Dog is okay. Dowsing Rod doesn't do anything. Embalming Fluid, that's another useless card. I need to redesign that. Executioner's Sword. Let's turn this one down. This one does a lot of damage. It does 3x damage if there is a minion on the board. So we want to change this probably to do something like... So this is what, 24 damage the way it is now? Let's do... Let's move that down to 6. Fire Arrow. Base paralysis duration. This probably applies too much fire. We'll turn that down. Friar. Ability builder damage. Let's do 7. frog. We're gonna turn down this poison to 2. Funeral pyre. Fire scaled fire. What does this do? Oh, it scales for each thing that does fire. Let's turn this down to 4. Giant finger's fine. Giant squid. We're gonna nerf that poison. God mode, we're not nerfing God mode. Grimoire. I feel like the Grimoire is okay, actually. I'm not gonna make any changes to that. Hammer, that's fine. Heart. Make float additive scalar. Yeah. That's fine. Hellspawn egg. That's okay. Project fire on the imp is probably okay. Incense is okay. Lamb. This does 4x damage if there's an adjacent mutton. Let's do that. Let's just nerf it down. So it'll do up to 6 damage if there's an adjacent mutton. That's fine. Lambone ring probably has too much of a heal. Let's turn that down. Lantern. I never use the lantern, so. Leech. I feel like the leech is okay. Maybe not, actually. Let's turn down the lifesteal to 3. Poison to 1. Longbowman, base damage, additional damage. This does 4 damage per additional. So this guy is a little bit tough. I think what I'll do is I'll do 8 and 2. So it does 8 base damage. Well, let's keep it at 10 base damage, actually. 2 per adjacent slot. So that could be up to 6 additional damage, I think. Mace, let's see. 12 damage with a 100% crit chance of their shield. Let's turn this down to 10. Maggot, Marionette. Marionette is probably okay. Medusa head. That's probably fine as well. This projects heal. Let's do 2 heal instead. Mosquito Swarm is an interesting one. That's a hard one to get to work as well, but I am going to nerf that to 10 instead. Mutton, this probably heals too much. Orbital class, there's not really any use for that. This damage execution growth is fine. Phoenix does 20 fire. Let's make it do 15 instead. Pike. 4 damage, 4 damage. 3 turns of paralysis. Turn down the healing of the prayer beads. Turn down the damage of the prisoner. Pumpkin patch. Turn down that heal. That one's fine. That one's fine. I think that one's okay. Salamander's okay. I think the Scarab is also okay. Maybe not. Let's do 4 and 2. Scarecrow is fine. Scythe is okay. Skeleton Warrior going down. Boom. Skull Staff. This one is very... This one is very strong. But that's okay. Slime, simple damage reflection, that one's okay. Snail Cat. I think this one's okay as well. Spider, I can't nerf the Spiderling any more than it is. I mean, I guess what I could do is I could get rid of its ability to do damage instead. I guess there's no reason for the Spiderlings to also do damage. Maybe they'll just do poison. Yeah, we'll get rid of that. Syringe, Lifesteal 6. That should be fine. Torch, Simple Fire 4. That's okay. Training Dummy. Those numbers are all right. 9999. Okay. Unholy water, that one's fine. Villager. Let's turn it down. Viper. This does 8 damage with 3 poison. I think the Viper's okay. I almost never use the Viper, so maybe it's going to be more in line. Voodoo Doll, Paralysis, that's fine. Warhorse, Base Shield. Okay. Wench, Adjacent Scaled Heal. Okay. Let's turn that down. Windmill, that's fine. Wyvern Hatchling. Turn down the fire here. Zombie. The zombie does a lot of damage. Let's just nerf it a little bit. Okay. So changed a bunch of numbers. Okay, let's do another playtest and see what happens. Sharing now, just copy pasted my share post from another site to make it easy. That's all right. Just had an idea for a region and a boss monster. The region is a labyrinth, and yep, the big boss is a minotaur. Alchemize. Oh, nice. Not my giant squid. I want to build a 3D game. Should I write it in GDScript or C#? It's up to you. Whatever you want, whatever you feel like using, Pragyon. I don't think you can go wrong with either option. Yesterday, I created an empty project for my deck builder game. Albeit I'm still following a tutorial. Very nice. Do you prefer any colony building games? I don't really like colony building games, no. How much time per day are you committing to game dev? Usually it's around 6 hours-ish. Sometimes it's more, sometimes it's less. But I would probably guess average 6 hours a day. Something like that. Okay. Now let's take a look at how this goes. Cat and prayer beads. Let's go that way. Let's just see how this feels now with this stuff nerfed. Snail cat. See, now this, I can replace this axe here. I think that's going to end up dealing more DPS than just the 2 skeletons, and I've got a scythe as well. Go here. Increase health by 15, that's a good one. Go to these cat prayer bead combo. Yeah, this is a lot slower combat. I might also... Necrosis turn threshold is 40? Wait, that doesn't seem right to me. Maybe I'll just bump this up to 60. Well, I won't make that change right now since I've already got the game running. Yep. Is your card ID class populated using source generation, or are you manually updating it? I'm manually updating it. I only put the cards that the player can get in the card ID class. It would be nice to source generate it. Honestly, I probably wouldn't even need to source generate it. I could just write an editor tool that outputs a script with all the card IDs. So I would just have to run that on occasion, I think. Okay. This is feeling a little bit better. Although I got kind of lucky with the axe, so I would wonder... I don't want to be in a situation where it's impossible to win the starting combats either, because that would feel pretty bad, but that's all right. Okay, here we go. Salamander. Gorgon head. I don't have room for the Gorgon head. There we go. Board size increased there, so let's go ahead and do that. Okay. Now we're cooking. this a ritual card? Interesting. I don't really have room for anything. I could put the salamander in here. Oh, or the snail cat, but the snail cat only works on... Yeah, that only works on statuses, which I'm not applying. Arming sword, ancient coin, and chicken. Let's do that. I guess I'll just throw another skeleton on here. Okay. Let's go snail cat, yeah. Does spider or other creatures also trigger an adjacent weapon card's effect? Not by default, no. There are some creatures that will scale based on weapons, but yeah. Not the spiderlings. Do you have any future Udemy courses planned in mind? I do not, Dominic, no. Not right now. I think poison decks will always be busted. The right combination of squids turned to 1/1 cards and rats, yeah. But that I'm okay with that happening as long as like you have to alchemize, as long as you have to put a little bit of effort into getting that build. I just don't want poison to be super strong like right off the bat. You should have to work toward making poison work and not just be able to, oh, slap a poison card and like auto win, you know what I mean? Hello Asymmetrics, welcome. Always good to see you. So I have 24 monies. What do I buy with that? Probably board size increase is the one I want to do. Okay, so I've got 14 monies left. Let's put the salamander here. I might as well do the card upgrade, right? I can upgrade my axe. That would probably be good. So this should deal 5 damage. So this is going to deal 10 damage now. Okay. Very cool. Let's go to the enchant now. What are we going to get here? Swarm, all poison applied is increased by 1. Increase the critical chance by 10%. This has a 15% crit, so I'm going to throw an extra 10% on that. And now it's going to 1 out of 4 attacks is going to crit. Barkeep, chicken, chicken, barkeep, villager, lamb, torch. Well, if I go this way, I have to fight all of these. I could use another booster. Let's go this way. Okay, this is feeling a lot more reasonable. Had I not made some of those moves to upgrade those cards, that would have been a lot closer of a combat. So I'm feeling happy with that. Deal 6 damage, okay. And the new scaling and the reduced numbers too is just going to make it a lot easier to control the hyper scaling going into the end game, I think. And this is also increasing my pressure to spend money to increase my health as well. So I'm going to do that. Cat prayer beads. This one is easy. Do another booster. I still don't like the way the boosters are. I don't have any pressure. Ooh, look at that. I don't have any pressure to spend money on the other boosters, so I gotta think of a different way to make boosters more interesting, I think. 3 damage per adjacent weapon. I don't really have room for this guy. Although I can see, this is a weapon, right? Yeah. Let's get rid of the Gorgon head and put this guy here. This might be a good, actually, this might be a good alchemy output if I can do that. Okay. There's a shop. I have 31 gold. Let's hit these 2 combats and go to the shop. Do you make all the music and sound effects yourself? I have a sound effects library that I use, which I have all the rights to use. So I pull sounds from that, and the music is being made by my friend. If you played the playtest, my friend made the music in the playtest, and right now he's working on creating a track for boss fights specifically so that new music can be played. I think what I want to do is ask him to create different music for each region as well. So when you move into a new region, the music will fade out and fade into a different track. So yeah. Okay, this is feeling pretty good. Now what I'm concerned about is I'm going to see what the boss feels like. Do I want to circle around? I might as well. I might as well hit this and then come back up here. Okay, this is feeling pretty good. Very good point, yeah. Since we have necrosis, do enemies have elements opposed to opposite to necrosis? Not necessarily. I was thinking about adding like a holy status effect for enemies. Did that not use my money? I couldn't tell. Anyway, I think like a holy status effect could work for the enemies. That does something similar to necrosis. Because right now the enemies don't have any way, to apply damage that bypasses shield. That's the other thing about poison. What makes poison kind of strong is that it ignores shield. So if an enemy has 100 shield and you apply 20 poison to him, he's just going to take all that poison damage. But there's no like equivalent for the enemies against the players. Oh, I might lose this one. I think I'm going to lose that one. Oh, wait. Wow, the necrosis kicked in. And it crashed. Oh, no. I wasn't running. Okay, we're going to think about this very, very carefully. So I wasn't running my debugger. Can I check the logs? Let's see. Of course, the issue happens when I'm not running in debug mode, and Godot is not putting a log in the output here. And it's not logged in my game log either. The necrosis kicked in. I don't know. I mean, oh, shoot. How am I going to do this? Let's turn the necrosis turn threshold. I wonder if it's the necrosis, if it's related to necrosis. I don't know. Okay. Have you announced when the next playtest will be and have an idea? I want to do a playtest for Halloween, so I want the next playtest to be released around the end of October. So, yeah. Next playtest is tomorrow? No. Hello, Snupbill. Thank you for the IDR 10,000. Very much appreciate that. It's always very generous, and it's always great to see you. Oh, you missed the Yummer blocker. Welcome, Snupbill. Welcome. Hello, Dev Godot. What's the game about? You could check out the Steam page. It's linked in the description below. That will give you a more deeper rundown of it. But basically, it's a dark fantasy grid inventory management auto battler with alchemy as the hook, where alchemy is the ability to mix cards and their abilities together to create new cards with a mixture of all the input abilities. It's about a game about love and heart. No. Hello, Chad Tomkis. I really loved your interview with Aramis on Scope Creepers. Hope you're doing good. Thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah, I'm doing well. Thank you for asking. Thing we know is happened after defeating the boss. Any ideas what could cause a crash after that? Yeah, I don't have any ideas. Also, I don't know why my debug notoriety level is not working. T-pose, man. Oh, there it goes. Nope. It's not the necrosis. What cards did I have in my board? Does anyone remember the cards I had on my board? I can go back in the stream and look. Maybe I'll just recreate that. Let's see. Sorry, I'm just looking at, I'm going back in my own stream here. Okay, I had a skeleton, axe, skeleton, salamander. And it was a 3x3 board. Okay, so let's do 3x3, override player board dimensions. We can recreate the boss board if necessary too, but the friar was on the enemy board. I wonder if that has something to do with it too. Axe, salamander. Okay. So we had skeleton, axe, skeleton, salamander. I didn't have anything in my inventory that should have been crashing anything, so let's see. Okay. Oh, I guess I'm not going to win that one. What in the heck? I guess part of being able to test it means I have to win the combat too. Do you remember the cards in play when the crash happens? Yeah, I'm trying that. Did I switch from Rider? I haven't used Rider for a while. I've been using VS Code for a long time. VS Code is perfectly fine. I like it. It's a way to have a crash dump log. I have no clue if I've ever coded such a thing. Well, the thing is, it's not really a crash. I mean, it is a crash. It's more like an exception gets thrown and the execution halts, but it's not like really a crash. Whenever I see that Godot doesn't output a log, it's usually because of an asynchronous, like an async await operation. And I don't know why that's happening, but we're gonna have to try. I don't think I'm gonna win these combats. Okay, let's do this. Let's turn this turn threshold back down to 1 so it dies quicker. I don't think it has anything to do with my... I don't think it has anything to do with my, what you call it. I don't know if it has anything to do with my board. Boss is almost winning, then decide to do one last attack with the debug crash. Yeah. How can I do the same debug via project? It's a little bit confusing. You have to. I don't know. I would just look up how to set up debug with C# if you're using C# with Godot. I wonder if it's related to the friar, because the friar has a weird ability. Since your game uses seeds, why don't you do another run with the same seed and do the exact same actions as before, but with debug enabled? The problem is the error is not being logged. I guess I could do that if I needed to reproduce, if I wanted to try to reproduce the crash. But unfortunately, because Godot is not logging the error, I have to run it with this. with the debugger attached. Also, to recreate all my steps, it's going to take a long time. I'm just trying to recreate the state. Oops. I do wonder if it's related to the fryer. There's a fryer. Okay, let's see. Nope, it's not related to the fryer. I wonder if this is just going to be enough if I just keep doing this over and over again. I wonder if it's going to be enough to reproduce the crash. Problem is, I don't know what state is contributing to that crash. Hold on a second. I think there's somebody at my door, BRB. All right, I'm back. The FBI caught him. You remember my little rant that I went on yesterday about how it's too hard for delivery drivers to check the address of the house they're delivering to? Well, they delivered my neighbor's package to me, and she came up and she's like, "Hey, this is my package. I just wanted to tell you that I'm not stealing from you. It's mine." I was like, "Okay, thank you for letting me know." But also, hey, FedEx. It's not that hard. It's if you can be barely literate and be able to know when a package matches the address. You don't even need to read at an 8th grade level. You can have a 4th grade reading level and you can do that job. All I'm saying, it's not that hard. And you have GPS too. It's like, is the GPS pointing you at this house? No? Well, then maybe you should pay attention. Anyway, whatever. Whatever. Did the fryer visited you? No. Okay. New goal is to SWAT fire. Yeah, and you try to do that and they're going to go to my neighbor's house instead because no one knows how to read a freaking address. All right. Last week I had a whole argument with 3 different people from the post office because they didn't deliver my package saying the address was wrong. Wow. Yeah. It's just so annoying. Like, it can't be that hard. Like, can it? It can't be that hard. Last guy double checked the address and I had entered it. And I had entered it wrong. Oh, well then, yeah. That's on you, I guess. That's funny. Maybe they don't speak Portuguese. Gotta love the post office classic, yeah. I'm really worried about this. I can't reproduce this crash. And it's not being logged either. So like, what am I supposed to do? I don't know how to reproduce the crash, and when it does crash, it doesn't get logged. Maybe I could just use my super programming powers to just read the code and discern where the bug is. No, that's probably not going to happen. Probably look at the code and be like, what the heck is happening? Hope you guys are enjoying watching me do the same thing over and over again. I'm certainly enjoying it. Let's see. The boss had a couple of torches and armor. The local post office sent business mails to my address, which has a slightly same name but different region name. And they had the audacity to try to lecture me when I point out where it actually is. Yeah. It's whatever, it's okay. Today is a McDonald's day if I ever seen one, though. You know? It's just like... It's just, you know, it's just one of those days. You just wake up and you look at your calendar and there's a big golden arch on it. You just go, oh, it's a McDonald's day today. Just one of those things, you know? Use your big programmer brain to listen to the telepathic noise of the code. Use more spiders that catch bugs. Wouldn't that be funny if I put a spider on my board and then it recreated the bug? Let's just try it. We're engaging in superstition now. Spiderling. You know your debugging is going well when you have to resort to superstition. Let's see. Yeah, I don't think it has anything to do with my board. I mean, I've done this how many times now, and it's like the board is not making a difference. I wonder though. Let me try something. Maybe it's not related to the combat at all. Maybe it's related to some kind of other thing. Like, what happens if what happens if I hit exactly 100 notoriety? Is it a problem with that? Oops, I didn't really pay attention. 101. Like, it could just be a red hair. I'm thinking it's a combat issue, but maybe it's not. Am I running this in debug mode? I'm not. Haven't eaten all day and was thinking about getting macos also. Yep. Guys need whey in your life. Some seed new run, but logs enabled since everything should be tied to the seed to doing the same actions will cause the same result and will reproduce the crash. Well, the problem is that like things like alchemy are not seeded, so if I had a card with a certain alchemized state, that would not work. Also, I'd have to remember every single move that I did or recreate every single move that I did, which, I mean, if I'm really desperate, maybe I'll go back in the VOD and try to do that, but I also don't know the seed. I lost the seed, so it wouldn't help anyway. Okay, go here, set it to exactly 100. See, this is the kind of thing where having like an AI agent would be really helpful. Just have the AI agent go through and play the game a bunch of times until it crashes, and just do that in the background. I don't know. I don't know how to reproduce this. Did I have any artifacts when it crashed? I don't think so, right? I don't think I had any artifacts. No, I didn't. Rim shot, yeah. Could be that the enemy card cooldown resets the exact time the enemy card dies, as it tries to trigger an effect right after it got freed. That is a possibility. It may even be the most likely scenario. But I should have been able to reproduce it by now. Let me look at something. I'm just watching my stream back. I want to see what statuses were applied when it crashed. So it had fire and shield. I wonder if it's related to the fire. Oh wait, no, I don't think it's the combat that crashed. So let me just pull this. This is going to be a little bit trippy, I think. Oops, wrong thing. How do I shift? There we go. So we're watching me watch me. So the combat actually completes successfully, and the board... I think I'm barking up the wrong tree. The board here, it successfully died. All the statuses are frozen. It gives me the money, but then it doesn't fade back into the map. So I think I'm barking up the wrong tree. I don't think the issue is with the combat, actually. It seems like it maybe is some other kind of configuration. So what's supposed to happen is after I fight the boss, it fades back into the map. Let's just see. After I fight the boss, it fades back into the map. The Inquisition's eyes shift to the growing darkness. Okay. So let's just step through what's happening here. Okay. Old notoriety region is equal to current notoriety region. So this is all asynchronous here. So it enters the state combat victory. It didn't even show the announcement. Oh no, it did show the announcement. So it showed the announcement, which means that nothing prior to this line failed. So all that stuff works. So if I change into the state map, visited undiscovered node. Is it related to that? Hold on a second. Maybe it's related to that. So if I do a bunch of organic stupids right here to test for you. Why use artificial intelligence? Yeah. Float point exact, maybe 1 in a billion. Yeah. Well, I don't think that's not the way that the combat works. Problem with scene transition. Are there any prerequisite checks that would allow fade to map to take effect? I tossed a screenshot in Discord of what you looked at, or what you were looking at as it crashed. Okay, I'll take a look at that. But I think I have a suspicion here. Let's do this. Project settings. Let's change this to 95. So I go here, skip this, go back here, Ah, okay. Okay, we're getting somewhere. So it seems to be an issue with visited undiscovered node. Maybe it's actually not, maybe it's not actually a bug. Maybe I'm just not handling that logic. So let's see, go 3 here. It might not actually be a bug. Maybe that's why it wasn't logging an error. Might just be I'm not handling that state properly. If I go back here, I mean, it's a bug, it's just not like a crash is what I mean. So that works. Yeah, it's not even a crash. I think what's happening here is I'm not hiding the game UI. I think I just have this logic wrong. This should say should show map. I think that's it. Because the problem is, so I don't want the map to fade in and out when you've visited a node that you've already visited, right? But the problem is if you visit a cleared node and that triggers a boss fight, that's going to change the transition to the combat, but then it needs to transition back to the map. And this map logic was never handling the case where you were already on a visited node, but you were thrown into a boss fight. That's what's happening. So now this should be fixed. I'm very glad it wasn't a crash with my combat system because I tried very hard to make that as clean as possible so those kinds of crashes wouldn't happen. And I was worried that I had missed a very subtle place. But this should work now. This should work. Okay, so now I go back to a visited node here. That's going to thrust me into a boss fight. I'm going to win this fight. There we go. It's fixed. Let me just make sure it's fixed for all other cases as well. And if I go back here, that shouldn't do anything. Cool. We fixed it. It's so fun when the code just decides to do Rails and refuses to elaborate. Yeah. Hello, monster. Yeah, we got it. We got it. We got it. Master bug squasher. Very nice. Okay. So let me do this. Turn manager, necrosis threshold. Put that back. Let's see. We'll do all those as balancing changes. Fix transition away out of boss fight if on discovered node. All right, we fixed it, everybody. It's fixed. Goodness gracious. So that's done. Okay. Came back. What was causing the crash? It was not actually a crash. It was a failure of logic. It was a failure of transitioning back into the map view after you had finished a boss fight that was triggered by visiting a cleared node, which may not mean much, but basically when you visit a cleared node, you don't want any UI to change. Like the map shouldn't change, it shouldn't fade out, shouldn't transition. But getting thrown into a boss fight happens independently of visiting a node. So you visit a node, you visited a node that was already cleared, that triggers the boss fight. But the logic was never handling the case for showing the map again if you were coming out of a boss fight. It was only handling the case of showing the map if you were coming out of a node that was unvisited before you visited it. I don't know if that makes any sense whatsoever, but anyway, it was just a failure to handle a specific case of coming back into the overworld map. So it wasn't really, it looked like a crash because of the way that the game is built, but it wasn't actually a crash. Bug squashed, yeah. Unhandled transition from boss encounter back to map in a visited node. Yeah, that's a good way of putting it. Once again, not only are you streaming during your work day, but you're crushing it. Keep up the good work. Thank you, Nick. I appreciate that. Thank you, thank you. But unfortunately, I think this stream is about to be over because I need my McDonald's. I need my quarter pounder, double quarter pounder with cheese. Can't forget the double, but did make sense. Tricky, yeah. Do you have any suggestions on 3D game dev? I don't. No, I'm not a 3D developer, so I can't really offer you any advice or tips on any of that. But anyway, that's going to be it for the stream. Like I said, I got to go eat some food because, well, that's the way things work around here, I guess. But if you're interested, I'm trying to pull this up. If you're interested, you can wishlist Alchemortist on Steam. It's a game I'm working on. It's a dark fantasy. I mean, you guys have been here. You know what it means. But check out the Steam page if you're interested to see what the game's all about. It's a deeper description than I could give right now. Also, I've got the Patreon, the Discord. You can join all those things if you're interested. And I appreciate the support. Go get that meat. Yeah, I will. I will very much enjoy it. Sprinkle of spiderling. Okay. All right. But yeah, thank you again, everyone. Very much appreciate it. Hope to see you in the Discord, and I will be back at it tomorrow at 10 a.m. Eastern, so I hope to see you there. All right, take care, everyone. Bye-bye.